Have you heard the legend of the Shadow Folk? They are the Sheikah, the shadows of the Hylians. The Sheikah are the eternal protectors of the royal family. Their history is shrouded in mystery, and despite their position as one of the most important races in Hyrule, little is known about the secretive Shadow Folk and their dark history.
However, it seems that Zelda for Wii U and NX will shed some light into the shadows and feature this mysterious tribe more than ever before. We know this because of the emphasis on their symbol in official Zelda U material, such as Link's new stone tablet item, which features the Sheikah eye on the front. This same symbol is seen very prominently on Nintendo's official E3 2016 website, where it is present on both the loading and competition entry screens. Why would this icon be the loading screen of their Zelda-focused E3 website if there wasn't a large focus on them in the game?
So today we're going to take a look at when this Sheikah-focused title could take place, and to start off, we'll look at this icon. If we take away the Sheikah tearing eye from this image, we're left with a weird-looking pattern made of blue lines and circles. I'm sure I'm not the first to realise that this pattern is very similar to those found in the Twilight realm, and in particular, the Palace of Twilight. Especially because of the glowing blue colour. And more importantly, there's a very strong link between the Twilight realm and the Sheikah.
A very popular fan theory revolves around the creation of the Twili, who were once known as the Dark Interlopers. They used their shadow magic and their ultimate weapon, the fused shadow, to try to take the Triforce for themselves during the era of chaos. However, the goddesses intervened, and the light spirits trapped them in the Twilight realm. Fans theorized that these Dark Interlopers were in fact members of the Sheikah tribe, known as Sheikah insurrectionists.
While this seems outlandish, there's absolutely enough evidence to support the fan theory. For example, despite the Twili being isolated from outside contact for millennia, there are carvings of the Sheikah eye present in the Palace of Twilight, like on Zant's throne. Perhaps even more important is the fact that this symbol, the icon of the Sheikah race, is carved into the back of the piece of the fused shadow that Midna wears as a helmet, a weapon created by the interlopers for taking the Triforce. Why would the eye of the Sheikah be present on the throne of the Twilight and on their ultimate weapon if they were not once Sheikah themselves? In addition, the Twilight themselves have some physical similarities to the Sheikah, some being very tall and slender with red irises. Of course they're no longer fair-skinned and human-looking, but as Zant said, the Twilight regressed, evolved, due to their time in the shadows.
This all gives a lot of weight to the assumption that the interlopers were once Sheikah, who rebelled against their own people and against the goddesses and tried to take the Triforce for themselves.
If you want to see an excellent video explaining the history of the Sheikah and this dark era in their past, check out the video I collaborated with Commonwealth Realm on after this.
If this theory is indeed true, then perhaps Zelda U NX could take place during the era of chaos, when the Dark Interlopers tried to take the Triforce. Since the Sheikah are to be heavily present in some form in this game, why not set it during the time in which the Sheikah arguably play their biggest role in the story of Hyrule? During this time, the Sheikah were the most numerous they have ever been, as well as the most influential on the world. Considering Nintendo's choice to have the Sheikah eye represent Zelda U on the E3 website, it's clear to see they'll play a large role in this game.
As well as the blue tearing eye and surrounding pattern, mysterious blue technology is prominent in Zelda NX. Both Link's mechanical arrow and the Beamos-like creature seem to be powered by the same blue glow, similar to timeshift stones, which interestingly may also be Sheikah in origin due to the presence of the eye on them. Similarly to how the Beamos monster and the mechanical arrow appear to be powered by this blue glow, the same glow appears to be an indicator of magical energy in the Palace of Twilight. When doors are opened, for example, they light up in a blue pattern not dissimilar to the one on the E3 website here. This suggests that just like how blue magic opens doors and moves platforms in the Twilight realm, it's the source of life for the Beamos monster and the source of power for Link's new energy arrow.
If Zelda NX is indeed set during the Sheikah insurrection, there is a strong possibility that this blue energy, and the technology it powers, is some form of dark magic, the dark magic used by the interlopers in an attempt to claim the Triforce. Perhaps in this game, Link's task is to combat the Dark Interlopers using their own magic, the magic of the Sheikah, and protect the Triforce.
Link's new attire could also support this placement in the era of chaos. This was an incredibly unsafe time to live in, since the realm was in absolute, well, chaos. The odd design choice for our hero in this game could very well be because he's hiding his identity in the dangerous time he lives in.
In a recent interview, the lead developer of the Zelda series, Eiji Aonuma, dropped some interesting comments on a possible connection between the new Zelda and Twilight Princess. He mentions that you might have some "oh, I see" moments when playing the new Zelda if you've already played Twilight Princess. With this comment, could Aonuma be hinting at this connection between the Sheikah and the Twilight? It does indeed seem that he is suggesting that Zelda U will explain some of the mysteries in Twilight Princess, and the history of the Twilight is indeed one of them.
Additionally, Aonuma further mentions how Twilight Princess influenced the development of the new Zelda. While these comments are mostly discussing game mechanics, it would make sense that the development team took some inspiration from the plot too. I can't talk specifics, but to me, Twilight Princess was a starting point, making it possible to do what I'm doing now in a way. But I think it'll be fun for people to look back when you play the new Zelda and compare the two. And finally, it's also confirmed that the Wolf Link and Midna amiibo will have some functionality in Zelda U. Aonuma states that it's not the save data itself, but part of the data saved in the Wolf Link amiibo can be brought over and used in the new title too. For some people, when they play the new title, they might feel the urge to play Twilight Princess HD one more time. What better way to utilise the Wolf Link amiibo than in a game which tells the story of the birth of the Twilight?
If Zelda NX takes place during the Sheikah insurrection, then that would place it here in the timeline, during the era of chaos. And it doesn't take a genius to work out that that makes it a sequel to Skyward Sword, taking place in the time after Hylians settle on the surface and begin to create the modern Hyrule. This placement is supported by the appearance of the Cell Cloth in the new Zelda, which has only been seen in one other game, Skyward Sword. From what we've seen of the world too, it seems relatively untouched by civilization, similar to the surface from Skyward Sword.
Now, of course, as with every Zelda U timeline theory, there are flaws. And the two biggest ones I can think of with this theory are both geographical, so I'll address both of them now. The first is Hyrule Castle. In the distance of the Hyrule field shot, we can see a few pixels which, if you squint your eyes a little bit, look like Hyrule Castle. The reason this is a flaw in my theory is because Hyrule Castle was built after the era of Chaos, so unless this is another castle, this is an issue. The second issue is the presence of the Bridge of Hylia in the gameplay footage, or at least, what we can assume is the Great Bridge. As far as we know, this bridge was built sometime after Ocarina of Time, so it's very unlikely that it'd be present all the way back in the era of Chaos. The only way I can really combat these arguments is by pointing out how the geography of Zelda games is never really consistent, and at times incredibly confusing, so I'm not going to dwell on them too much, although they could serve to prove this theory false.
In summary, there's a lot of evidence supporting the fact that Zelda U might tell the story of the fall of the Sheikah, how members of the tribe betrayed the rest by using their shadow magic to attempt to take the Triforce, but were trapped in the Twilight Realm as punishment. From multiple comments from lead developer Eiji Aonuma linking the new Zelda to Twilight Princess, to the emphasis on both the Sheikah Eye and strange blue glowing energy, it is very possible that this is where Zelda Wii U will end up in the timeline.
And besides, wouldn't it be awesome to finally get a game with a plot that surrounds the most secretive race in the series? A game in which Link must defend the loyal Sheikah, the last of a once prosperous race, against their own kind, using their own weaponry against them in a last-ditch effort to save the Triforce and realm from complete chaos. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. What do you guys think about this theory? Leave it in the comments below. And thank you to HoopsandHipHop for joining me on this one.
Thanks for having me, Zeltik. If you're interested in more Zelda content, be sure to head over to my channel, where I do remixes as well as theories, top 10s, and more. There's even another Zelda U timeline theory on there that Zeltik helped me with, so if you're interested in checking that out, the link is in the description.
And thank you to the musicians featured in this video, namely Owen Mayer, the team at Zelda Reorchestrated, and the wonderful Reuven Wegner, who composed my intro theme. If you liked this video, then leave a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. I've really tried to up the production value on this one. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.